is a result of one's commission of negative karma in former lives. For example, when you cheated others, when you tried to defeat others, when you try to gain at the cost of others, these result in what we call the ripening of karma that brings about pain and suffering. So when you do negative deeds, the result is a state of mind that is often referred to as hell. When you have done positive deeds, it brings about happiness. I was born after the Chinese operation in Tibet. I am upset with them, and I am sad because the Chinese have been very ruthless to Tibetan people and my family. You name it, they have done it. At the same time, they have destroyed so many monasteries in Tibet. Maybe it is because I am still young and my practice is not strong enough yet. Maybe this is why I am upset with the Chinese. As an antidote to conquering very strong negative emotions, we would resort to doing the sevenfold Vairocana posture meditation. There are different wind energies inside a human person. In one posture, the wind which enables us to excrete waste enters into the central nerve channel, eliminating some of the negative emotions. When you broaden your shoulders and sit upright, the nerve or vein-related winds enter and get rid of ignorance. When your neck is slightly bent downwards at an angle and you touch the tip of your tongue on the palate, then fire-related wind enters and dissipates desire. When you lower your eye a bit so you almost see the tip of your nose, the space-related wind enters and gets rid of egocentric pride. When you sit cross-legged and remain in single-pointed concentration, then water-related wind enters and helps get rid of jealousy. These postures are a very good method of getting rid of some of the negative emotions.
Our newer generations of Tibetans raised exclusively in exile, immersed in contemporary culture, displaying the discipline and compassion of their elders. Evidence of cultural erosion is appearing among younger Tibetans in exile. Demonstrations and violent protests are becoming increasingly common in refugee towns. Some are beginning to question the pacifist approach of their leader. Even so, the spirit of their native culture remains strong, and some still aspire to the example of past masters.
In our life, we do many different things. We are in different professions, but we all have a single goal, and that is to be happy. And the only way to be happy is to believe in one's own mind that it can be happy, that it has happiness all the time. And that is very important to know, that is very important to notice. If we fail to notice that, then we start to expect external materials to make us happy. In our life, we change different things in the hope of being happy. We change our name, we change our dress, we change our food, we change everything. But we realize every time that this change has never brought the true happiness. So the only way to stop all this game is realizing the nature of mind, which is a Buddha, and which is content and fulfilled and satisfied from the beginning. So although I still have desire, I still like all the material things, deep down in my heart I often feel that this is not the real way of happiness.
Yet even the most earnest efforts of these young practitioners cannot maintain the tradition of the yogis as it once was. The number of authentic elders dwindles daily. The best the younger generation can do is preserve the practices of their ancestors, the shadows of a total lifestyle that will never again be possible. This observation by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama points to the irony of the Chinese Holocaust. Intent on destroying Tibetan culture, the Chinese have in fact successfully driven it out into the world. It is seen in a phenomenon that began shortly after the invasion and continues today. Once the most reclusive people in the world, the master yogis of Tibet have begun to migrate westward. As hope of reclaiming their native land fades, they are relocating to establish temples and teaching centers.
Now the Buddhism is developing west, so we have centers from South America, from Chile to North America to Canada, and we also have Baltic countries in Central Asia. We have maybe 40 centers more than. So we have to also properly guide the Buddha's teaching.
It is, in one way, a very difficult situation in Tibet today, and it's been that way for many years. But from that, we have so many wonderful teachers and examples that have come to the United States, Europe, and different countries to make Buddhism available to us.
One day His Holiness the Dalai Lama called me down and said, well, this is time now. It is time for you to actually come out of retreat. And now your time has come to benefit all beings. Listening to that advice, I ended my retreat. And from that day onwards, to this day, I have visited so many countries, and I have taught so many countless number of people. And it was absolutely as His Holiness said. I benefited so many people, and I keep on going strong. Now, since I came to the United States, it has gone 5 years. The job of all Dharma practitioners is to help other beings. In countries like India and Nepal, there are many lamas, and teachings are readily available to the population. And this case does not apply in the United States and other Western countries. The main point of the teachings is the generation of loving kindness and compassion. And I hope to help people in the United States and teach them loving kindness and compassion.
Arizona has become home to one such center, a growing facility where Tibetan yogi Garchen Rinpoche guides the teachings. Now, where the adobe dwellings of Native Americans once stood, clusters of retreat huts, temples, and teaching rooms hug the rugged terrain of the Chino Valley. In them gather people from all walks of Western life, from many faith traditions, there to learn what wisdom this ancient people might have for a weary modern society.
Well, I think the general society now has so many influences which are rather superficial in nature. And even though we theoretically have a lot of extra time, more and more I think people are finding that the different distractions and things that they do are not particularly meaningful to them. And so they're searching for something else to give their life meaning.
Here we saw all the technology. We see all the rich people. We have all the money. We can, whatever you want, the food, Chinese, all these different, you can get. But then people find out that having material, having technology is really not answer your inner question and not fulfill ultimate goal. And therefore, they have this kind of spirituality. I would say human society, there's love and compassion is the only way to bring peace and happiness.